session.
Well, when Hazel gives us a thumbs up, we can start.
Okay.
Thumbs up, all right. Thumbs up. I'll call this meeting of the school board for QVSD to order.
Oh.
Let's have a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank y'all. Okie dokie. Oh. All right, we'll start out with, we need to approve the meeting minutes of our regular meeting of May 27th, 2025. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 27th.
Great, thanks.
Second.
Thank you. Any corrections to that anybody, any changes? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. None. They're approved. Let's do the same thing for the special meeting of last week. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes of June 19th?
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting of June 19th.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My name's not on it, and it wasn't there, and I thought it was.
Oh.
Pretty sure it was.
You
Oh.
were there.
Special meeting?
Yeah.
Good, I read.
Were you really there, Ron?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
so.
he
Yeah, you
was
were
there.
I was late.
You were
I
there.
was back for a minute, did I?
Did I go? Did I dream
That
that?
was the special.
There, I just added it.
Oh, there you go.
But somebody needs to approve or
Okay,
do
we
it with
need to
the amendment,
reapprove it.
yeah.
Or, all right, it has been changed to include Ron. So now with that change, is there a motion to adopt
I'll
or
make
to
a
approve
motion
those?
With the approve.
Approve them.
With the new
Great.
addition.
New second?
I'll second it again.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, they're approved. I noticed Jay wrote a really nice synopsis of what, I don't know if you were watching, but he was writing things smaller than the tip. I mean, I could hardly read I was trying to read what he was writing, but he got 7 lines between 2 of those lines on a piece of lined paper. Just tiny writing. But anyways,
OCD.
he took some good notes. What's that?
He's OCD.
That's good, we like that
Yeah,
in an
yeah,
architect.
we'll probably be all right with that.
Or change orders, right?
Oh, well, there might be if he he types stuff, so that brings it up where we can read it. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
I'll make a motion we adopt tonight's agenda.
Thanks, Ron. Second?
I'll second it.
All righty. Any changes that we need to be aware of? Anybody wants to make? Not hearing any. All those in favor of tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, we have an agenda. Executive session to discuss real estate. Where do you want to go? Stay here?
Go back there,
Okay.
but I'm thinking 15 minutes, so we return back at 5:49.
49. Let's just say 5:50.
5:50, okay.
We'll be back at 5:50. And, all right, let's break for executive session.
I'm not sure. I think this might be
people that owns them.
It's
right,
usually
well-
based on what's next
My
to your
wife said
property.
that.
Okay.
We're out of executive session, back in regular session. No action to be taken. So let's move along to public comments and questions. We don't have any public here. Is Nathan even here?
Michael Cleve is here
Oh.
instead of Nathan. Nathan is out. Thank you, Michael, for being here. Thank you.
Okay, well then let's just move right along to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept it or to approve tonight's consent agenda?
Make a motion. We
Thanks.
approve tonight's consent agenda.
I'll second, oh, sorry, I'll second it.
Okay, good. Any questions about it?
I had a couple of questions. This Convo Enterprises, it's like a sign language
Mhm.
deal. So their rates are anywhere between 260 and 475 a minute. I think is the way I read this. So I don't know, how do they do that? I mean, you know, if you were working with a student, that could take a while, couldn't it? That could be just a couple of minutes and you're done.
That could be, and so my understanding, we have a instructional paraeducator who is working with one of our students who signs only. He's learning how to sign. And then my understanding, I could be wrong, but is that this person would come in and help with training on top?
Oh, this is the online version.
Or-
Or this isn't the person that comes in.
This is not the person that comes in. Okay, help me.
This would be like a Zoom kind of situation.
Only if we're on Zoom.
Mhm.
Oh, so
Do we
And,
have some
and
deaf
then
students right now?
virtual interpreting services, that
Yes.
would be for language. Like Spanish, mum, which we've done. And then you can record the minutes on the Zoom. That's right. Got it.
so it's just
So
for
it's
when
just
you're
interpreting. I
online.
thought I read it
Interpreting,
where it
no.
was like
There-
a sign language.
There's
thing.
a sign language part, and I don't think we use that as much as we use it's on demand. That's the other thing. If we can't find a translator in the district or we need it for confidential reasons, then we contact them and they can be on demand.
Do we have some deaf students?
We have one.
Good.
Yeah. He will be entering kindergarten, actually.
So we pay the setup fee.
We pay the setup fee and then the per minute. And I figured you were going to ask this. I was going to ask Jan how much we have spent on it, this contract, because we had this contract this year, how much we spent on it. But my understanding is we don't use it frequently.
Oh, good.
Yeah, what is a setup fee? I mean, what, setup what?
It's like going to the app store and getting
It's
an
just
app.
another thing, just, oh, let's jab them there.
Well, to put it in their system,
Good
probably.
question. I can find out, but probably to set it up so we have access to any of their translators.
So they do Spanish sign language.
Or they do interpretation, like, for example, there was one incident where we had to have a mom translator and a Spanish translator. We had a Spanish translator, no, we had a mom translator in person and we had a Spanish translator on the screen.
So it's,
In Zoom.
okay, so it's not just sign language.
No,
Oh,
And
Okay.
$2.30 a minute with a 1 hour minimum. So if they talk for
Yeah.
5 minutes, it's still gonna cost 60 minutes. Gee, what a scam.
yeah, but it's not much, really.
Yeah, But
I will find out how much we use it.
Oh, my other one is this RJ Services. This guy's gonna go around with this shop vac on a truck and suck out the catch basins.
Mm-hmm,
So there's 43 catch basins.
mm-hmm.
And I'm sure some of those catch basins aren't very big,
Mm,
but $12,500 to
mm-hmm,
suck the silt out of those, bottom of those.
mm-hmm.
How often do we get that done?
We need to be doing it once a year and we have not been. And we usually would do it right before the heavy rains. And I believe that, either, Daryl used to do it or Jerry's, one or the two. I think it was Daryl. I need Bill here to remind me of that. But so we're having a hard time finding, but we do have to pay prevailing wage and they do have to be on our small works roster.
I didn't know this was a thing.
It is a thing.
I didn't
It
know.
seems like a racket.
I didn't know that this was a
That's awful
job.
expensive. I mean, if you just, if I just bought me an old septic truck and I just did a couple catch basins a day and stretched it out for a month and made $12,500, I'd go, man, I just raked it in on that
Sounds
one.
like a good business,
Yeah.
huh?
So that brings a point, is West Waste, why don't they apply for it to do it with their suction?
I don't know that they do that.
Well, they could, I mean, did anyone ask
They
them?
do septic tanks, though.
Yeah, they do septic tanks. I mean, this would be a lot
That's
simpler.
a good
than-
question. I should have Bill here.
Well, actually, I
Maybe they
mean,
don't have the staff.
um, yeah, so Mike brings a good point. If they're not on our small works, or even with Jerry, if he's not on there, we should probably be talking to these people to do it locally. And if West Waste does it, they got suction, I mean, they could do this and it wouldn't, yeah. So anyway, this is a question, I guess, for you, Diana, to
Okay.
talk to Bill to see if he talked to anybody besides these guys, or,
Yeah, I mean,
I
there's
mean,
only one person that does it in Western Washington.
well,
I know he
area.
had a hard time finding anyone to do it,
well,
so.
for
And this person's out of
$12,000
PA.
bucks, I think, or less, I think.
So it's $291.75 per catch basin is what the works out.
Well, the
to.
problem, see, we're, you don't know what they're charging to come out from PA, and if it's anything like the electricians and plumbers that come out here, that if it goes to me, Mike, and Kevin, they're still gonna charge each one of you the same rates, so
Yeah,
they're,
trip charge. and-
instead of sharing the time, and they don't do that.
Yeah, because this doesn't
So-
include the dump or travel.
And we have
doesn't
to
include the
pay
dump fee either.
prevailing
Oh, it doesn't,
wage.
Yeah, it
it
does
doesn't
not-
include the dump
does
fee?
not
Remember the
include
prevailing
state-
wage of driving, and I don't know what to operate. I don't know what the going rate. I'm sure there's some chart with some going rate on prevailing wage.
And then to
And
get rid
prevailing
of the-
wage is generally per hour, anywhere between 43 and, again, depending on probably CDL. And I don't know what all licenses you have to suck the stuff out of our.
I don't even know what one looks like. You have to show me.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, that's not a, yeah, the prevailing wage thing is on the contractor to pay their guys that. Now, that doesn't mean they have to, it's just a,
No, we have to show that and it has to
Well, I
be
know.
filed with LNI.
I know,
Yeah.
but then that
Well, it would be
doesn't
nice to
mean-
give it local.
Yeah.
So
Because that's
should
an
we,
hour prevailing wage.
What about the city
Here
of
and
Forest? I mean, they do it all the time.
They're not on this.
I don't know.
maybe they're,
On the
maybe
They're
they're
busy
contracting
with
it.
their own projects. I mean,
For $12,000, they'd probably drop what they were doing and run right over you.
It just doesn't seem like it's thought through. I mean, just, oh, yeah, this guy does work, okay, hire him.
Maybe when I get off the board, I'll go buy me an old septic truck.
There you go, Mike.
I'll call you, call me up.
Call me. I'm ready.
That was my only questions.
good questions.
Good ones, though.
In the meantime, do you want to continue with this contract or take it off and
I
revisit
would
it?
like to look more into it. I mean, when does it gotta be done by?
We need to
Yesterday.
do it by when the rains come.
So we got all.
Mhm, So it
till
gets all
September,
leaves and old
basically.
debris and whatever, but if you have it on if we have it on the agenda or the consent agenda, how does that work with Robert's rules of order?
Robert's not here.
I don't think you can,
Can't we just consent without?
Well, if we have to do this
Approving.
once a year, and obviously that no one else is on the roster, how long does it take to get on a roster? It might not be
Worth it.
till next year anyways, and then maybe the other businesses in town could get on the roster. That would give them time.
I think, yeah, there's a good point. So we have good questions about it, but given the time that they have before the rains return, and the questions you bring up about whether there's
Well-
somebody on it,
Yeah, but I
It's-
mean,
how much are we gonna save from $12,000?
well, here's the thing. This contract doesn't have to be signed today. It can be signed in a month or two, because they're not working until September, October before the rains come.
Who isn't?
These guys,
Does it say that?
well, that's when Diana said they'd come and do it, is before the rains hit.
Yeah, but that now is before the rains hit
Right,
too.
but if
And if
you
it
have a-
were my business, I'd be out here now doing it.
No, because you got all the other leaves falling in the fall before it starts raining, and that's what you're trying to get out of there.
This bid's only good for 30 days.
So
Okay,
if
you
you
do.
are going to, you can request, I just did my AI, you can request, a board member can request to remove an item from the consent agenda for separate discussion. If a member wants to postpone discussion of a consent item to a later time, they can make a motion to table that specific item. Generally, your consent is for group routine, non-controversial items for a single efficient vote. But you can table it.
To next month.
Mhm.
We do that.
Somebody make a motion if they wanna.
I make a motion that we postpone that one. At least for-
Did you get that?
at least for-
That one?
Until we can talk to Bill and find out
Okay.
what the process is. that he
To get on
goes
the
through.
roster and,
Yeah.
the timeline
Yeah.
for that.
And just, we should ask West End Ways, do you guys do that stuff? And talk to the city.
Maybe they didn't know it was a thing either.
I don't know, maybe not.
I've never heard of it
I'm
before.
pretty sure Bill has called around. I just
I'm-
didn't get that information from him. Yeah.
It won't hurt to wait a little bit.
Okay, I got a motion.
I don't know.
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Oh, go ahead. You can second.
Okay,
One
all
of us will
those
second.
in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. But, okay, we'll wait till next month. So, page 2. Any
Yeah, I
other
don't think
questions?
you did I think you just, I apologize, but I think you only moved that one over. Don't you need to do the entire consent agenda now?
Yeah, you
Except-
do need to.
Excluding that one thing? I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't be butting in, but I.
No problem, Robert.
Thank you, Robert. It's the rules of.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that. All
Thank you,
right.
Myron.
So with that change in the consent agenda, removing the agreement between Convo Enterprise and QVSD for the 25-26 school year. I guess, so we're gonna remove that, so we need a motion then to adopt the rest of the consent agenda.
What did you say? Did you say Convo Enterprises?
Yeah, isn't that it?
No,
Oh, sorry.
it's the,
RJ Services.
RJ.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay, the agreement between RJ Services and QVSD for the cleaning of catch basins so that we can get further information. So now, with that taken out of the consent agenda, is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll
Go ahead.
make a motion to adopt tonight's consent agenda.
Is
With
there a se-
removing that section.
Okay, is there a second to
I'll
that?
second.
Okay,
Something interesting too on that, it says does not include dump fees or travel time for
Mhm.
dumping.
I know, we gotta see what.
So it could be way more than that.
well, that's a good question. We need to find out.
Mhm.
Okay. All those in favor of the consent agenda as it is now presented, say aye.
I-
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right. Now we're gonna move on to.
Myron, anything else you're noticing? No, I'm kidding.
No, really, anything. we-
No, I think
well,
that I was just concerned that you missed that because, yeah, because that would have been, yeah, no, we're good.
If we'd missed it, the audit would have caught it and we would have got a finding and we'd be,
We would have had to
we'd
bring all
be up
that
a
back.
creek. Yeah, we'll have to bring all that stuff and dump it back in the. Okay, reports, financial report, the May ending cash balance, all that, the May budget status report, and you might as well fold in the June enrollment. Diana.
Okay. I'm gonna have Hazel pull up our. So the month of May is a short apportionment with 5% of our apportionment. So we received a little over 4 million and we spent a little over 4 million with a net of 13,897. And so you can see what our net cash and investments in the general fund at the county treasurer is almost 10 million at 15% of the budget. And you can see we're just trending right along where we typically are. We're going to see a bigger dip in June because OSPI miscalculated their revenues and they're going to short us in June. The good news is that we're in a financial position where we can still pay payroll, and there are some school districts that are going to be really challenged the month of June.
Well, they should have to eat it. It's their mistake.
I don't remember all the reasons for the mistake, but they really truly
Blew it.
Mhm.
How much were they shorting us?
I don't know.
You don't know yet.
Yeah, I think we will get 3 or 4%, so even less, because May and June are always our shortest months.
Oh, so.
So less than that, yeah. But we'll be seeing that revenue in July that we miss in June. So we met our reserve, undesignated unreserved fund. And again, our unreserved, undesignated is at 6.4 million. If you go to the budget status, I think it's the fourth one down. I just want to show you something that Jan and I have been talking about. Let me see what it's called. May budget status report. And the first page that you open up is our general fund. Remember, we have all of
Yeah.
our funds in there.
Mhm.
So if you look at local support
On tax.
on non-tax, you can see we've collected most of our taxes for the year. But in that 598,000, a good chunk of that is our investment earnings. So I think we currently are getting about 4% in our investment earnings. There's specific ways the county can invest public funding. And so at the end of the year, we'll probably be right under $500,000. And so we're looking into if there were, that is considered local. You know, there are only certain pots of money that are considered local. Our levy collections and our debt service is some local that we collect for timber. And then this would be another area. So we could, in theory, because over the last 4 or 5 years, we've collected about $500,000 in there each year. Again, this year it's going to be somewhere around 400 and some thousand. So when we're going to look at our project of needing matching funds for our ball fields or local funds for our roof for the elementary school, those are funds that we could tap into. There will be a couple of things that you would need to decide as a board, and then I think you do a resolution after we've had a hearing. And then, but I would suggest, Jan and I are really going to dig into it next week so we could show you what that might look like. And again, use those, especially for the roof and the field project. Probably that with a combination of either timber dollars and or from the debt service fund. And then if you look at our debt service fund, we are starting to see more. If you scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see ASB, and then you're going to see our debt service fund. And we are always paying attention to the 3,000 state general purpose. That's where our DNR junior taxing district timber dollars go in. So we budgeted 120,000 and we have currently seen 164,000. So 136%. And so again, we're building in there, and that is typical. We still have not seen the dollars that were accidentally transferred over to UW. And so I had Jan reach out to the county, and we will be seeing those next month. So we're supposed to see a chunk of dollars there
And how
too.
many,
I don't know how much.
Do we get interest on that while we weren't?
No,
while
we
were
don't get
waiting for it?
interest on that. I know.
Should,
Anyway, I thought
Charge them a
that
penalty.
those were two
yeah.
interesting things to talk about.
okay,
Good points.
thanks for those. June enrollment?
I'm like, why is my thing not going? And so this is the overall yearly average enrollment. For brick and mortar, we were down 33 FTE for the entire year. And so you can see in each of the schools what that actually looks like. We were pretty close in our elementary school. That does not include our TK, our transitional kindergarten. We had steady 17. Same at the middle school, really close to what we had budgeted.
Yeah, really close. That's good.
Not bad at the high school either,
Mhm.
down 14, so we were close. And then really averaged 0.23 additional homeschool plus, so we did a good job there.
Spot on almost.
I know. And then again, when we're looking at, this is the aggregate or the entire amount of the yearly average, we were 14 above for the elementary school and Insight School of Washington. We saw the biggest gain in the middle school. I think that is a trend, what I'm hearing across the state, that the transitional middle school years are really challenging for kids. And so they're looking at school choice. We saw the most there. And then really not bad for our high school, not knowing where that's going to come in. And again, overall, keep going. So if you look at, for the yearly average, we were shy 491, which is better than being over 491. That fly is
That's
going to
pretty
be
good
crazy.
So why are those those middle school years so difficult for students?
Well, they always have been.
Other than their age, age.
Testosterone.
But even
Back in my day, they were
even
bad.
more so now. I mean, I don't know, but I would guess. I am reading a book called The Anxious Generation, and it's really fascinating. It's about how parents with social media and having 24/7 access to the internet and social media, that's really doing a number on our kids, especially our younger kids. And then the fact that they don't have unstructured play anymore, their parents are following them everywhere, afraid of them being out by themselves, which is really just changing the youth.
Yeah.
And there's, it's a really good book. When I'm done, if you want to read it, it's kind of opened my mind, and it goes back to what Shannon and I observed with the hidden in plain sight. There's a lot they can have access to when they're on their social media that parents don't know about.
That they can order on the internet and
Yeah. And just exposed to a lot of things that
Forever
make them
21.
very anxious, and sometimes it changes their behavior, especially during those middle years when it's really hard anyway.
That's interesting because I can see a difference between one set of my grandkids and the other set of grandkids. One set, the parents bird dog them, just, everything is organized and kind of family oriented or whatever. And the other set, they still go outside and play with the neighborhood kids, without a parent looking over their shoulder. And we're talking 7-year-old, 10-year-old, and they're just right there in the neighborhood, but that's kind of the way.
Mhm.
They still are somewhat hooked on the social media and all that. Well, maybe not so much the social media as the games and stuff, so the screens are still an issue, but that's interesting because
Yeah, and just
I
the
see
4
that in my own
caveats
family.
they say to kind of get that back into balance is to not give a kid an iPhone until they're 16. not let your kids have 24/7 access to the internet, and then giving them some unstructured. That's how kids learn how to socialize and how to negotiate and who's a leader and when to follow and when to shut up and when to apologize and all of this. And then the other thing is they said that schools really should not allow phones at all. It's I'd be
Well-
happy to share the book when I'm done. I'm
We're
just
in-
I'd
about
love to
done.
read that.
We're kind of heading that direction, I
And
think.
how's it going with the phones in school? Was it good this year?
We had challenges. It was better.
Better.
Uh-huh. But there really are schools who are saying no phones, period. They even have these things everybody can just check them in at the front door or in the first period of the day.
Mm.
And then I lock
I like
the
that.
case.
Yeah, I like that idea. They don't need them.
Let's do that.
And then places across the nation who have done it now for 2 years said there's a huge difference in engagement.
Kids are
And-
learning how to talk. and
They're learning how to
communicate.
talk. They're learning how to, anyway, that's a whole nother discussion. I didn't mean to bring all that on, but
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna
fascinating.
roll with that one too, on something I read last night on hours kids should come from 10 o'clock on. There's a big article. and
About
it was
sleeping later, schools later.
Start at 10.
Yeah.
There's a huge thing, it's study done by Oxford University. And it said the pros and cons about it.
Kids need their
And,
sleep.
the sleep and the sleep deprivation because of the kids are staying up, like you said, I don't know if it's tying in with your phone thing at
Playing
night,
their
time in their bed,
games, playing
they're staying up
Xbox.
late at night, and so that's another thing to talk about. I've always been saying that since I've been on the board, that we should start a little earlier, and also another thing is to teach another language when you're in first to third
Kindergarten.
grade. Yep, exactly.
I
That's
agree
where
with
you
you.
retain most of it.
Yep.
So anyway, we can move on.
Okay.
anyway, that's why I think they're anxious. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
makes me
We could
anxious.
talk for hours on that, right?
But
Yeah.
So on your enrollment, do you have any projections for next year, what you're looking at, or?
We do. In fact, in July, we'll go over that, but we're looking at increases in some areas in Insight. Myron and I just talked about it. And then again, the biggest shocker is that in the kindergarten, we currently have 53 enrolled. That's a really small class.
That's more than
Usually
I
they're-
box talked to.
Yeah.
usually they're in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a trend, in talking with Clallam Bay, Cape Flattery, Crescent, Port Angeles, and Sequim. I think it's the beginning of the baby bust.
And less
Mhm.
kids.
From COVID, right?
Mhm.
Or COVID
Yeah, you would think there would be more, there's fewer.
less. Didn't you say, was it PA only had like 80 or something?
Yeah, the
at one
PA
point?
had really
Had
small.
what we normally have.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So we're probably gonna see a combination between online, Myron's program and ours, larger or bigger, more, but in brick and mortar less. I can't remember what. We'll look at it next month.
Okay. Thanks, Diana. How about board reports? Anybody have anything for the good of our order?
Well, graduation, we did graduation. That was good. I went to what was that, kindergarten graduate? No, preschool,
TK,
TK.
that was fun, wasn't it?
4-year-olds. I had to go. Parents was graduating. But that was fun.
Cool. Good. And how did the speakers work?
excellent.
Excellent.
Sound was good.
Sound was
They
good.
were-
Sound was
yes,
really
Way
good.
better than last year.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Oh,
Good.
progress.
That was a big difference. And we were sitting there and I went, oh, you sure hear it better.
Yeah. no,
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Geez, it's only taken 12 years.
They had it down.
It was good.
Myron's went really well. Insight went really well. I guess he gets his turn here.
Yep,
in
he
a
gets
minute.
his,
Okay.
if nobody else has anything, Myron, we'll turn it over to you.
No, I mean, we had a great graduation. It was awesome. We had a lot of, we walked about, I think, close to 150 to 200 kids came to the ceremony, which was really, really cool. And as far as enrollment, just so you guys know kind of where we're at, I just kind of explained this to Diana this morning. Right now, we're trending about The high school, like one of the numbers I look at is the number of actual approved kids that have their choice transfers in and are ready to start for the fall. High school is about the same as it was at this date last year, so exactly a year ago. Middle school is running about 90 kids more than it did last year at this time. And the elementary is running about 70 kids higher than it was at this point last year. So we're overall about 138 kids more kids approved as of today than we were on June 24th of last year. So we are seeing that growth. And we can, so right now we have about just shy of 1,900 kids approved to start in September across all of our school.
It's high school.
Yeah.
I just want to give kudos to Diana too for making it to Insight graduation and our graduation in one day.
She just
She's-
never made it. You were following us up the Elwha.
Yeah, there was a car that about came into my lane or our
Or they
lane.
were in our
Yeah,
lane.
that crazy one that ended up here. Did you hear about that crazy one here? I think she got arrested here, didn't
Yes, she
she?
did.
Yeah,
The
I
blue
did hear
car.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
did read something about that.
For
Yeah.
what?
You guys saw them?
Mhm.
Me and Tracy were going up. I had the photo on a trailer behind me, or I would have been in the fast lane. So I was in the
Oh.
slow lane, and Diana was behind us. And that car came down the passing lane to go up, coming towards us, flying down with the hand out the window. I don't know what they were doing, but I go, man, I'm glad I wasn't. Someone wasn't
Wow.
passing me.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah,
So
somebody
Yeah,
must have
Elwha.
called it
down
ahead.
the Elwha, around the corner, and around the bridge corner. I mean, it just lucky she made it.
Well, I'm glad you all made it wherever you were going safely.
Well, I would just say kudos to Myron and his team with, I think that was a quick, they did this time we left the adult speaker out. And by the way, the high school did too. It was more student centered, I think, you know?
So you didn't speak?
No, I mean, I just do the closing. I now pronounce you
Graduates.
graduates. But Myron's speeches, they were really good. The kids did a really, really good job. And anyways, I made it in record time. I don't know how.
We have a recording, by the way. We're still working on getting it published, but eventually, once it is published, I'll pass it on to you guys. We recorded the whole thing, so.
You,
good.
Myron, do you guys have valedictorians or? anything
No,
like that?
we stepped away from doing valedictorian salutatorian. Part of that is just because of the population shifts so much that it became really, really tricky to do that and make sure that we're being equitable. And so we don't do valedictorian salutatorians. What we do for student speakers is we kind of ask the students who wants to speak. And our first speaker was a student by the name of Stevie, and he's one of our kids that is in our he did amazing. All three of our speakers, our ASP president spoke, and then we had another speaker that spoke, and they just did an amazing job. It was
Yeah,
really,
the
really
whole
cool.
crowd cheered. It was pretty good.
Great.
So neat.
Well, you guys are doing a great job, Myron. Kudos to your staff. Well, and you guys, the administration too. But the teachers make it happen. Okay, let's move on to old business, if everybody's okay with that.
Mhm.
Myron, were you finished? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Approve the Forks. We need to, if you are so inclined to approve the Forks High School Dungeons and Dragons Club Constitution.
You've approved this before, but my understanding is they just did not have signatures that first
There's
page,
a lot of them on here.
and you've got them now.
Okay,
Remember, we're getting everything in
Mhm.
compliance with ASB rules.
okay. So is there a motion to approve this club?
I'll make a motion, we approve the Dungeons and Dragons Club
Is there a second?
bylaws.
I'll second.
Any questions about it? Will they let board members play, that sort of thing? All right, all those in favor of approving the Forks High School Dungeons and Dragons Club Constitution, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay, it passes. So let's move on to lead in the drinking water action plan.
So the Department of Health is testing every school district in the state. Our testing was done in November. They identified, and the report is in here, I think I brought the report to you earlier, which of our faucets need changing. And so then we put our plan together. We did a requisition for replacement of faucets, purchased those. There's a 60-day, you have to have it posted on your website, notification to the public, which we did.
About what?
For any comments. And we did-
About
we
the
did-
plan?
About the plan. We did have one comment from the director of our ECAP program, Tammy Lidster. She was just questioning what we did in the intermediate, and there were the ones that were above the 23 or 20, what's it called? I can't remember. PPBs, we put notifications to not use them. But we are currently in the process of, or I shouldn't say we, Bill and his team have started replacing them. You can count how many there are, but
78.
yeah.
74.
So it's
And
not so much in the pipes, it's just in the fixtures.
Mhm.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. And then we got a grant from OSPI to pay for a good chunk, I think almost all of because it was quite a bit of money, $30,000, I believe. But it will be done. It needs to be done and then posted that we have it done by August 15th of this school year. So it's ready to go for next year.
So
So
all
all-
of this stuff will be up and
Yeah.
flowing again.
All of it will be done.
So all the new faucets are lead-free faucets?
Mhm.
I thought the way Billy was talking, like, you can't hardly get a lead-free faucet.
We found them.
Oh,
We found them that meet the DOH requirements. So
I've just kind of trained myself to let the water run for a while before I,
you can do that.
Yeah, so you can maximize the amount of lead that's
Oh, yeah.
coming out
So
of it.
part of the requirement is that you review and approve that we're gonna have these done by the 15th of August, so that you're in the know.
Right, so the popular tap kitchen,
Yes,
he said it was 183, which is way big.
correct.
But I thought they were just gonna plug that off because it was never used and that's why it was so high. But it says to change out fixture, hose and stops. But that's what it says on all of them, so I'm not sure.
Correct. We put a stop to it. That would be an example of one that we said do not use, and they weren't
Right.
using it anyway, but we still have to replace it.
So you are gonna,
Yeah.
you're just not gonna,
Every one in the intermediate main building is it's all hand wash only. So where do they get a drink of water? Is there something in there that,
Well, and we have water stations.
drinking fountains?
No,
But they're-
that you can
Oh.
fill your cup. Yeah.
So are the drinking fountains coming back?
I believe so, the ones
Okay.
that we're replacing. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, well, this requires question?
Nope.
This requires a motion to approve the action plan.
I'll make a motion, we accept whatever we're doing with the drinking water action plan.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other questions other than about how you phrase that? Okay. All those in favor of approving the action plan for lead in the drinking water, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Okay. Next on the old business list is the Halberg Pacific Appraisal Service contract. We need to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve the Halberg Pacific Appraisal Service.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions beyond what was already asked? Nope. All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Any opposed, say no. It passes unanimously. Policy 24, Board Policy 2401, Financial Education Mastery-Based Learning and Credit, second reading.
I noticed that there is a typo in financial if you look at I believe I fixed it, but I must have not attached the right one. Look at the way financial is spelled.
Oh, financial? Yeah. You were real close, so.
Yeah, we'll make sure this gets changed if you want to make the motion with that change. But this again allows us to provide multiple ways where students can demonstrate financial education. And one of those especially related that you passed was the ability to get paid work experience. They can get a credit if they achieve 360 work credit hours, show their work stubs, and then write a paper on what they've learned about working for a living, getting paid, and how they utilize their money.
I love
How
it.
how much is it, how much time is a credit?
360 work hours.
Oh,
Paid work.
work hours,
Uh-huh.
okay.
And students can get up to 2 credits of
That
that.
would
So-
take a while when you're working like down at the store 4 hours a night.
Yeah, it'd
Yeah.
take 3 months.
This is just an elective?
Mhm.
We should have it mandatory. They should have to learn this stuff.
And you'd think the credit card companies or somebody would help schools out funding for it. 'Cause-
I do like that opportunity. I think it's a good, for many of our kids who are working.
Yeah, okay. All right, so is there a motion to finalize board policy 2401?
I'll make a motion to approve board policy 2401.
Second?
I'll second.
Great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. It is approved. And last on old business, we have pre-bond planning services.
So based on our June 19th meeting, Jay put together what he heard that the discussion of what activities he would be involved in. And then based on this, he's going to put together a proposal for pay. And then that would need to be approved by you. My understanding is that most architectural firms will give you a menu of items, 100 items that you want to do, and depending on the involvement of the architect, they'll give a price, a fair market price for it. So I wanted to have discussion if there's anything else you wanted him to do, if there was a part of this you did not want him to do, because based on this, then he would create a contract that we would negotiate with him for his services.
I thought he captured it all pretty well.
I thought it was a good idea. He said he'd present monthly to the school board.
Yeah.
That was nice of him.
Mhm.
The question I have monthly, where does he live?
He lives in Kitsap area.
Would that be a virtual one?
No, he said he would come here in person.
Let's come, so.
Yeah.
Some costs associated with that, so, I mean,
I'm sure that's part of the negotiation process. Yeah.
okay.
That would be spelled out in the contract.
Okay.
So given any discussion that you would have, I'm going to turn around then and talk with Jay and say, we're good with what you have here. And then he'll draw up a draft contract and then I'll review it. Do my homework on that before I would bring it to you.
Yeah, looked good to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll make a motion. for-
we don't need a motion on this one.
Oh, with this discussion.
Thanks, though.
I'll
make a motion to have a discussion. That's okay, I looked for that too. But- Okay. New business, we'll skip number 1, go straight to number 2. No, we'll go number 1. Begin our annual Board of Self-Assessment. It's that old survey monkey again.
So let me get this right, because I know a couple things have changed and I had Hazel do the legwork on this. We would need to give them a date of when we wanted it done, right? It's about a 20-minute survey. Is that the survey?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
link
it's
to the
70
survey.
Link to this, okay. So it's about a 20-minute survey. How quickly do you think you can get it done? By when, what date, so we can give them a due date?
20 to 25 days.
Do you think you
So many
could,
questions.
I could do it tonight if you wanted,
Yeah,
and we
a
sat
minute
here
a
and did
day.
it.
7 to 10 business days.
When's it gonna show up? When's our first opportunity to start?
you can
Do it right now.
Now?
start it right now, but I wouldn't say you should start it during the meeting. I would say you can start it right now. There's the link, yeah.
So the next meeting,
I'm not online. I can't.
Okay,
Yeah, by next meeting. That's a good idea.
by the next meeting.
Okay.
We'll all get it done by then.
okay.
Well, I gotta put a reminder so. I can-
Our next meeting is a board work session,
Okay,
by
then
the
remind
way,
me.
in July.
So we're just gonna go on
We-
right here where it says explore this section and click on that, and then that opens it
And
up.
then you put in your email address and da, right?
Maybe Hazel, you could send everybody the link so they don't have to look back
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
agenda.
We can do that.
And then it goes
Thanks.
to here, the old survey.
And then based on
And
that,
just go down there and say next.
that leads to the next part is we've skipped this part for a long time, but it's kind of based on best practices of boards. And so then we would want to review your self-assessments to see what you think about yourselves.
At the retreat or a different
Well,
time?
and that's what I was just gonna say. You want to do a retreat again. I thought it was really, it was a good activity last time.
Mhm.
I'm busy.
But I'm
Sorry.
we typically have one board meeting in August, but it's really, I would like to lean on you. You want to do one? If you do, you want to structure it. Remember, we did about a half a day last time and we spent the first hour together and you talked to me about what you wanted me to focus on. And then we brought, or it was just an opportunity to look at our overall goals. You would look at your self-assessment and then we brought on our admin team.
I liked it then because going into the new school.
And we had
Session.
pizza. Mike loved that.
Oh,
Mike
we
loved
were
the
up at the
food.
ONRC last.
Yeah,
Last
we
year
were
was
at
owner.
ONRC.
Last year we had Shelley.
We had Shelley's food.
You had Shelley's food last year.
That was
thought we
the
were
year
at the-
before we went down.
That-
there.
That was the year
We
before.
went down to the river. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get in there.
And that was more of a winter time.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it
the
was
winter
because
time.
we were it was pre-bargaining. You're right.
Oh, that's right. It
Yeah.
was.
I liked it at ONRC. It seemed
Yeah, that was fun.
enough space for everybody. But I really liked because we got to discuss certain things and share with the admin our goals for the school year.
And then the other thing I would like is to invite Myron. If we decide to bring the admin team on, invite Myron as well, if he can make it in person, probably you and your immediate team. Because one of the things that I'm noting, the more we collaborate and work together, we got a kudos from OSPI. We had an assessment compliance review, and they were very, very complimentary about how much we own our online program. Not all programs and schools work as well as we do.
Way to go.
Good job, class.
But I also know, Myron, your schedule's pretty hectic, but we would like to invite you for that opportunity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when we get closer to that day, when you have a date set, we can certainly look at that and bring staff up to participate in that if you feel like that's beneficial. I know it's a big deal for us. I mean, we wouldn't exist without without the school district behind us. So
So Hazel's gonna pull up the calendar, the August calendar, because July's, remember, we have the budget work session and then we have a full meeting in the end of July.
I can't zoom in, I don't think.
Well, my August is pretty booked up, but whatever day we pick, I will rearrange things.
I don't know if you guys have vacations planned, I am pretty much around all of August too.
Sorry, it just disappeared.
the only thing that gets a little tricky for us is our teachers come back August 13th. And so that's when we begin doing a lot of our training, and we're changing a lot of our systems next year. So we'll be doing a lot of support sessions with teachers to get them ready for those sessions. So
Maybe
That's-
early in August.
yeah, that's the only part that gets tricky for us is we're,
Last year, I think we did it the first week, but again, I wanted to talk to you before I just plopped that on there. Oh, yearly calendar, 25, 26.
It's not showing. Okay.
The week of the 4th through the 8th, or the week of the 11th through the 12th, 15th?
What do you think would be best for like our principals?
When do
The-
they come back? The week of the 4th through the 8th?
This is the.
Yeah, we start, right in here, we start like the 2 squares are new teacher mentor program, and we just start heavy training that week of the 18th through the 22nd.
So would it be best for us to do it the week before
That's what I'm thinking.
or
Like,
Monday, Tuesday before?
like the 4th or the 6th or 7th, a Thursday?
Those would be good days for me, Thursday, 7th.
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone the first part of that week, but I'll be back on the 6th.
Mike, 7th?
7th, if you want that, I can make it happen.
Myron, what about you on the 7th?
I think that might work for us. I think that would work. August 7th is what we're thinking.
Okay. All right. August the 7th, and we would do the first 2 hours with us, like we did last time, like 1 to 3, and then 3 to 5 with admin team. Do it in a 4, and then we'll figure out the venue. Okay.
The menu?
The
what
venue.
Oh, the venue.
And menu.
And menu.
And menu's
Venue
important.
and venue, yes. Okay.
Thursday. So we there on the 3rd?
7th.
7th.
Or, I mean, 3 o'clock?
No,
1 o'clock.
1
1
o'clock.
o'clock. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Okay, last thing on new business tonight is approval of Forks High School. Oh, no, that's wrong. Next to last thing is the WASDA Conference, November 20th through 22nd in Seattle.
So we booked rooms for everybody. It's in Seattle, with the exception of you, Bill, because I know that you
I can't go.
can't go. And that doesn't mean you're committed, but we would need for you to look at your calendars to see if you could. It'd be really good if we could all go, or many of us as possible, because the more you go and the more you learn, the better we do. And it's only in Seattle this year. You know, usually they do Bellevue
Mm.
and Spokane. I think you guys have done Bellevue and Spokane. I remember the year you left your banana or sat on your banana.
Oh, yeah. Slept in that morning.
That was the big
That
takeaway?
was the big takeaway.
That's all we learned.
Wow.
But we don't need to know right now. Will you find out when we have dropped dead date of registration? We got in the rooms. We just reserved rooms. That way we got rooms.
Where is it?
In the waterfront?
Is the Hyatt.
Oh, in the
Downtown.
Hyatt.
And that's where the conference is?
Yeah.
The Hyatt?
Yeah,
Yeah.
then we don't have to.
Oh, it'd be
Yeah,
fun to
the
go
fun's
to
gonna be in
one of those that's
Where is it?
actually
Yeah.
roomed in the
Nice.
same venue.
I know.
I have never been to one like that.
So it's the 22nd?
Good.
The
Yes,
20th,
good idea.
we would leave on a
Be here before we
Thursday,
know it.
I know.
midday,
That was on June 5th.
late afternoon, get there for Thursday night, go all the conference on Friday. Probably go to a few in the morning on Saturday, come back Saturday.
Okay.
20 and 22, so that's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
No, it's a
No.
Thursday, Friday,
That's October.
Saturday.
We try November,
You'll be a little early.
be there all by myself.
I think it's right before
What a
Thanksgiving.
great conference.
The week before
When's,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Diana, when's the Washington trip? to
It's in
strike?
December. I need
That
it.
was December, like.
11th and 12th.
No, it was the first week.
Myron
Like
is
the
the,
3rd and 4th or something.
when is the
Second, third, fourth?
summit?
Well, the Board and Partner Summit, hang on. I thought that was in December.
11th and 12th.
I thought it was the week before it, when I looked at it last, but.
I thought I put it on my agenda, didn't I?
As if I get my deer or not.
For that.
Oh, I don't think I put it on my agenda. Let me look it up for us. Hang on, I'll find it.
It was in
I could
October.
swear it was.
It was, but weren't they doing it later this year or something?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
they
used to
are.
be-
Yeah, I thought it was like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 3rd, 4th, 5th. 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Maybe.
Freddie just sent something out, so hang on.
We got an email on it.
So hotel check-in date is December 3rd,
You're
and
right,
then
Shania.
checkout date is December 5th. At least that's what mine says. I'm guessing yours is the same. I don't know for sure, but that's what,
Yeah.
because Freddie sent an email this week.
Okay.
Get done with all this.
Well, I'll bring that to one of the next board meetings too, where we can talk more about that.
The deadline is October 24th.
Oh, deadline for, WASDA's October 24th,
Deadline to know, right?
To register.
right? Okay,
Okay, that's settled.
Filled in some dates.
Calendar's filling up fast.
Okay.
All right, now we'll go to the last new business, approval of the Forks High School Class of 2028 Constitution.
my understanding is the class of 2028 did not have a constitution. So now this,
Now they have a
give
signature
them a
page.
signature page and a constitution. That is our current juniors.
Hmm.
No, wait,
No, it can't be.
current
Freshmen.
sophomores,
Freshman. Sophomores?
sophomores.
Yeah, for next year, they'll be sophomores.
Well, I guess it's good they did this.
They just copy the other years.
Maybe I've changed a few things.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. All right, but we need to approve it, so. Is there a motion to approve the high school class of 28?
I'll make a motion
Constitution.
to approve the Forks High School Class of 2028 Constitution.
Thanks.
Second it.
Great. Anybody have any questions about it? No? All right, all those in favor of approving that constitution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. It's done. And we have another executive session.
We do.
How long will it be?
What time is it? I say 7:10.
7:10. Does that include travel time?
Oh, well, if you need a quick break, probably 7:15,
7:10.
7:10.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I was,
Well, we gotta wait if we don't in there, right?
Yeah, we can come out and
We can't come out early.
It should last. Are you gonna say all that?
7:10.
Do you need to
Oh.
say the details of when it starts? How long it lasts?
oh, it starts at 6:49 and we will be out until 7:10.
Correct.
That's 20 minutes.
Here you go.
7:20, we're back. Are we unmuted yet? And we're back in session. Is there any business? Is there a motion?
Oh,
How do I?
refresh our memory. There's three
Is
motions.
there, yeah, is there a motion to give the high school principals 6% increase in the coming school year?
Building principles.
Building, yeah, the building principals, a 6% increase in keeping with those, I don't know, being afforded the different unions.
Bargaining groups.
Yeah, bargaining groups to maintain equity, pay equity. Is there a motion for the principals? And I guess we can give the information. So Sarah Decker, the elementary school principal, her salary at 6% increase would go from 153,328 to 162,527.62. Brenda King, in her second year as high school principal, will go from 160,299 to 169,916. And Elena Velasquez, in her third year as middle school principal, will go from 165,107 to 175,013. Is there a motion to approve those salary increases for the year 25-26?
I'll make a motion for all that.
Well done, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed?
One opposed. Motion carries. Now, is there a motion to increase the vice principal or the salary of Kyle Weekly, is he a deputy superintendent? Assistant superintendent, for all the same reasons that we did for the principals, from 192,364, his current salary, to 203,905, his salary in the year 25-26.
I'll make a motion that we increase the assistant superintendent's salary
6%. Thank you. That was well said. That was well said.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say no. None are opposed. And finally, is there a motion to amend our Diana Rayom, the superintendent's contract, to receive a 6% increase in the coming school year, 25-26, in lieu of the 2.5% that was in her contract?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
She's got it. Bingo.
Okay, Shannon got it. All right, all those in favor of that motion to increase Diana's salary by 6%, not 2.5, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. There you have it.
Okay.
We are adjourned.
All right.
Papers to sign over here on the table.
Man, look at that.
All organized.
Hazel.
Softball start on the right.
Thank you, Myron.
Thank you.
All right, Myron.
Driving